स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज में आप सभी का स्वागत है बच्चों। ये है अनसीन डिक्टेशन नंबर 127। नए बच्चे अगर आप जैसे डिक्टेशन लिखना चाहते हैं और टाइप करना चाहते हैं और अपनी एक्यूरेसी जानना चाहते हैं तो ये मंथली जो है फीस आती है। वेबसाइट के ऊपर ही कोर्स अवेलेबल है, वेबसाइट का और मोबाइल ऐप पर दोनों पे जगह एक ही नाम है, ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज। वहाँ .com लग जाएगा या सीधा लिखोगे ज्योति स्टेनो टाइपिंग कॉलेज। OTG लगा करके कीबोर्ड से आप टाइप कर सकते हो। जिनके पास लैपटॉप नहीं है, लैपटॉप है जिनके पास, वो वेबसाइट से एडमिशन ले सकते हैं। बेसिक से लेकर के और गवर्नमेंट जॉब तक, यानी कि डिक्टेशन तक जाना है तो उसके लिए इंग्लिश स्टेनो बेसिक टू गवर्नमेंट जॉब ये कोर्स है। इसकी फ़ीस 5,000 रुपये है। ये भी मोबाइल ऐप और वेबसाइट पर अवेलेबल है। और तीसरा जो कोर्स है, पहले पिटमैन पॉकेट बुक करनी है, यानी कि 12th पास बच्चा भी जैसे अभी ग्रेजुएशन वगैरह करेगा, अभी कोई फॉर्म नहीं भरा है, 17 साल का है, 16 साल का है, 15 साल का है, तो उसके लिए इस इंग्लिश स्टेनो बेसिक का जो पिटमैन पॉकेट बुक कोर्स है उसकी फ़ीस 2500 रुपये है। तो ये जो क्लास है ये है अनसीन डिक्टेशन की, और इसमें मैं पढ़ाने जा रहा हूँ 127 नंबर डिक्टेशन। डिक्टेशन स्टार्ट आफ्टर 5 सेकेंड। Mr. Vice Chairman, sir, in the first place, I am not prepared to agree with some of the honorable members who said that our foreign policy is not effective and not dynamic. Sir, the government of India has never divided it in its foreign policy, and the foreign policy of this country was designed by the greatest man, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and our association and our interests with all our neighboring countries and also with those countries which were under the colonial domination are were very well known in the world. Even when India was fighting for its freedom, our leaders never hesitated to say that it was not enough if India secured freedom. They wanted that any country which was under foreign domination should be freed. That was the attitude, that was the struggle, and that was the fight which our leaders waged in those days. I don't think anybody can say that the Prime Minister of this country have ever hesitated to condemn a foreign domination and condemned a foreign power occupying another country. Many of my friends have made a big story about the Soviet occupation of Afghanistan. Sir, it was Indian Prime Minister who said very categorically that she would not like even the Soviet troops to be in Afghanistan. She did not make any secret of it, and she did not talk of it in closed quarters. But she spoke that thing to the Soviet government. Therefore, sir, in the non-aligned conference, if the word condemn was not used, and thereby if our friends attributed that the Indian government or the Indian Prime Minister or the Indian Foreign Minister was playing the role of a stooge of a big power, it is a most unreasonable approach to this problem. Sir, our attitude towards Pakistan or towards China was never questioned. If at all Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru failed, according to the members of the parliament in those days, it was because he wanted to be too friendly towards China, and by trying to be too friendly towards China, he wanted China to come to the World Committee of Nations, and he advocated a place for China within the United Nations. The contribution which Jawaharlal Nehru made for the entry of China into the United Nations is not to be assessed in a small measure. Even the Chinese leaders have understood it, at the cost of even annoying many world powers, including the Americans, the Indian government, the Indian representatives, and the Indian prime ministers from time to time contributed richly towards the entry of China into the United Nations. But China was not kind to India, and the way in which China treated India is known the world over. It is only when we are in difficulties that we understand who our friends are. When China attacked India, she made an appeal to the world, but nobody came forward to help India. It was at that time that we discovered a friend, the Soviet Union. Sir, we are discussing the various activities of the Ministry of Foreign Trade. It has been mentioned by the previous speaker that our percentage in world trade is falling, and statistics of this nature are produced on a number of occasions to prove that we are in very bad shape. But these statistics are a snare, and they are to be very carefully analyzed. Even the statistics of per capita national income give a completely distorted picture. Countries like Japan and the UL have per capita consumption of many commodities which is 400 times less than the USA. That those that does not mean that these countries are 400 times poorer or worse than the USA. So the same things holds good about our foreign statistics. Formerly, the pattern of our foreign trade was different. Now that whole pattern has changed, and we are processing some of the raw materials that we used to export, and we have stopped the import of many machines which we are now manufacturing. So to say that our percentage in world trade is falling is by no mean an unmitigated disaster. It is a sign of growing self reliance, and it is profit that we are progressing in industrialization and in many other respects. Sir, foreign trade is naturally very important for a country. We must lay a very firm but sound base so far as our foreign trade is concerned. But, sir, private industry has up still now not risen to the occasion so far as foreign trade is concerned. The type of goods they supply are below standard. They have no long term perspective as regards prices. Deliveries are not in time, and that is exactly the reason why state trading has to be resorted to. If the private sector had risen to the occasion and given a good account of itself, there would have been no necessity for the STC or any other body to step in. Every time the private sector comes up with a proposal, the only thing they want is to reduce the export duty and other taxes. They never think of increasing the production or efficiency or their turnover of goods in the foreign trade. All that they want is concession from the government, which the government sometimes rightly and sometimes not so rightly give to them, and then we feel that the foreign trade is progressing well. I would urge upon the minister to be very cautious when such demands come, and unless the industry is trying to improve its own working, no more concessions should be given, and everything should be done on a very proper and long term plan. What we really need is a long term policy for foreign trade. The government should not change its policy every now and then. The incentives are varied every now and then, and one does not even know what the situation is going to be next year. वेबसाइट पर इसको लगा दिया गया है, पहले अच्छे से इसको पढ़ें, उसके बाद इसको टाइप करें। टाइप करना बहुत कंपलसरी है, और वो सॉफ्टवेयर इसमें आपको गलतियाँ भी निकाल के दिखाएगा, किस तरह की गलती की है उनको एनालाइज़ कीजिए, और फिर एनालाइज़ करके फिर अगली जो डिक्टेशन करोगे फिर उसमें थोड़ा सुधार आएगा। इस क्लास में इतना ही बच्चों, नमस्कार बच्चों।